Good morning, shrub crafters. We are trying something new here on the Shrubstead Shrub channel, using some of the newer software that I have that I've been using. It just trying to see if I can't get this all working right. So hopefully this all goes good. Doing a little bit of a voiceover here, and once again, it's my ultimate luck to have gotten a new firearm that had problems. And this will be the saga of the Ruger Redhawk. The following video, you will see I filmed some uh, parts and pieces of it. I was hoping to do a nice 44 mag video. And right out of the gate, I had bought this gun for $1,299. It was actually $1,308 out the door, um, so a little bit cheaper than you could find them online for. And that was with my local dealer. I was torn between um, I'm looking for a 44 hunting gun, and I was torn between either the Colt Anaconda or going with the Ruger Redhawk. There was actually a really nice Super Black Hawk Bisley edition, pretty sexy, but I know my requirements were I wanted a stainless gun just due to the inclement weather, even though I love a blued gun, um, and Smith & Wesson. Didn't necessarily want to get a newer Smith & Wesson, but like a Model 629 44, and I wanted to keep it in that 6-inch or less barrel, and I really wanted a half-lug gun. The half-lug guns just to me look sexier. They look like that original single action. When you get in those beautiful with the ejector housings, they just something about them just is classic, iconic American. And so doing a lot of research, I've waited, taken my time, tried to find the right one. And grabagun.com, who I have no affiliation with, but Grabagun, who I've bought a few guns from, has what's called Grab a Quote. And so I went on their site, and I think you could get a 629, depending on which model, but anywhere from 869 to 969 range between a couple of different models. They do $10 shipping, and then my local dealer would have done a transfer for about $40. The Ruger lists as a retail with wood grips as $13.99, and the Colt Anaconda right now I think is going for about street value between $12.50 and $12.99. Plus your $10 shipping and then transfer fees. That said, my goals were shooting lots of lead. You've got the lead cast, and you get being able to hold a really good stout load. So that kind of put the Ruger kind of up there. I really wanted a one-piece barrel, which actually is not part of the Ruger. And some of the Smith & Wessons, actually have some of the older ones, especially have the, hold on one sec. Okay, you got to bear with me here as we're in this learning process of the voiceovers. The interesting thing is, as I do this, the videos that I'm trying to edit in here started playing, so they popped up. So we'll get all that sorted out as I go and continue. So anyway, I narrowed it down to a 629, a Ruger Redhawk in the 5.5 inch, and then I narrowed it down as well to the Colt Anaconda. So I was leaning towards the Colt. The Colt makes a good, sexy gun. American, iconic. Now a Czech-owned. CZ USA owns them. And the limiting factor, though, finally for me was, with a Colt Python I had, you just have to pull back on that ejector, or I'm sorry, the cylinder release latch is a pull towards you, and then you push them out. And so I think the issue for me is that as you are using these, it's just not natural for me to pull my thumb and shift it to kind of open it and push it out, whereas the Ruger is a press in button with that triple lock feature, and then the Smith & Wessons are a push forward. So I really do like that. It's a much more intuitive design. All right, that said, I got this gun for $13.08 from my local dealer. Picked it up, did my paperwork, came home, ran down to the basement and grabbed some S&B 240 grain ammo, as well as some MagTech 240 grain ammo. And what is interesting is the MagTech and the S&B are both a foreign ammo. Now, I knew S&B was. I had never looked at a box of MagTech. For some reason, I thought MagTech was USA. Well, so I go to the range, put my first 6 rounds into it. When I load it up, I pull the trigger, everything's good. The 5th round, I believe, went bang. Big fireball came out of there, and that was, I believe, the S&B ammo. Felt a little bit different, a little bit flashier than the previous 4. So I stopped, pushed, and opened the cylinder. Cylinder came out. I looked, everything seemed fine, so I closed it and shot the 6th one off, which seemed back to normal. Fine. I went to open it. I open up the cylinder again, and I press the ejector, and the ejector rod does not go down. And so I was like, huh, that's odd. Some of the cases started coming out, so I look in. At this point, I realized there's a case stuck inside of the number 5 cylinder chamber, I guess, and I couldn't figure out how to get it out. And you know, you go to a range, and even in your woods, you go there and you try to bring everything that you might possibly need, and of course, you don't have everything. So I end up smashing it with a rock, trying to get it out. It doesn't work. Put a little gouge in the underside of the barrel assembly. No big deal, you know. It's stainless gun. It's going to get beat up. I could live with it, but I mean, we're talking probably not even an hour old for a gun. So I just stopped what I'm doing. I was like, screw it. I'm going to go back to the house, get a little rod, drop a rod down inside, and I'm able to pound out the brass that was in there, and it was perfectly sheared in half midway down, probably about 1/8 of an inch below the depth of the seating of the bullet. Got on the phone right away, called Ruger, told him what happened, and the lady who answers the phone was like, well, you need to shoot American ammo. I said, well, it's 6 rounds, S&B. Well, yeah, but that's not American. I was like, all right, well, I'll go back out right now and try some of the MagTech. She goes, well, again, you need American ammo. I was like, well, I thought MagTech was American. Nope, made in Brazil. So I said, all right, I'll go down and grab the the Remington ammo I have. Does that work? And she goes, yeah, that'll work. So I go downstairs, grab the Remington ammo, run back outside. Same thing. It gets stuck in the cylinder chamber when I'm trying to eject. So a little frustrated. Come back. So I made a phone call to Alien Powder because that's makes tight group. And I did a bunch of reloads previously for my rifle, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to check tight group. So I called tight group, and I said, hey, just out of curiosity, in the event I had accidentally loaded a reload in my gun, and would this have caused it with tight group? Because I know tight group spikes pretty quick pressure-wise. So I was talking to their powder guy, technician specialist, and he said absolutely not in a 44. You know, he gave me some good pointers for loading the 44 for pistol. But he said, yeah, there's definitely not going to have created the dangerous pressures unless I did a double dose, and even then a double dose of tight group would have been super noticeable. So you know, and again, I had not loaded a reload yet at that point. So I was just a little confused, and I was like, there's no way I reloaded a reload when it was all S&B. My reloads were in a separate box. But I was like, let's just troubleshoot everything. So I asked. He said, nope, no issues. And he goes, of all guns, even if you did do a double, it'd be a Ruger could handle it. And so knowing that, I just went back, and then I got a little frustrated. So what I ended up doing was taking a Sharpie, and I marked the cylinder chamber directly above which one was the bad one. Called Ruger back again, told her after I had tried this, 4 or 5 more times, the stuff getting stuck, and she told me, well, you can try to polish your chamber. So that's what I did. Was I bought a flex hone, and from the flex hone, I went in and I kept polishing the chamber. So my theory on this is that the cylinder was out of spec, and whatever tool was cutting my chambers, I believe, either wobbled or chattered inside and created a slightly oversized chamber, because the brass was expanding so forcefully and it was gripping the sides. So even when I polished it out, it was actually a little bit bigger and smooth. It was starting to come out, but I couldn't get them out by hand easily. It took me, even after multiple polish attempts with that flex hone, it just was not ejecting. I mean, I could get them out 3/4 of the way, but then they were stuck. And so I fired probably 150 to 200 rounds of using the gun as a 5-shot gun. just to get the feel for it. And at the same time, when I had done that, I had placed an order for Badger custom grips. I was looking for a set of grips that I could put on this gun that would, similar to my 357, give me a little more full grip in my hand to, help aid in my journey of 44 mag and eventually 44 Magnum hunting. And so, bought a set of grips off their site because I tried to go with a few different companies I've used in the past, and nobody had a 44 Magnum grip for the Ruger Redhawk in that square butt frame. So Badger grips seem to get a high praise on Reddit and a few other gun forums of being decent, so I gave them a shot. Cost $109 plus $24 or so rush shipping, because otherwise it was between 4 and 6 weeks to get them, processing time. So I paid for that expedited, thinking they would come in. And during this, so the order came in and they were being made, and so the grips finally ship, and I keep going out and I keep trying to shoot, and this gun just didn't quite work right every time, and it was getting a little frustrating that I couldn't use it properly. And again, this is another saga, just like the Sitting Fox. You shouldn't have this many problems or a lemon coming out of the gate, but I get it. Stuff happens. QC goes down on everybody, and they can't test every single individual firearm, I guess, going out the door. So called Ruger back again after getting frustrated. They sent me a call label and a tag and said, send it back, and it's anywhere from 2 to 8 weeks. Realistically, they said it's probably anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks to get it back. So I sent it out, and what you're going to see following is the video of the same day reaction when my gun comes in. I had to take a day off of work to be able to stay home and sign for it. It finally comes in, and I've got all the pieces in assembly, and I do an unboxing, and what follows is this portion of the video, and you'll see some frustration and some more letdowns surrounding this gun and accessories that we were trying for it. So we'll continue on here, and I'll see if I can kind of maybe we'll do some more of these voiceovers as we're trying to progress through here, and then continue this saga. Hey, Shop Crafters, just had to take a day off from work, and waiting around because my Ruger 44 Redhawk is back from the factory. We're about to unbox it here, and then we're going to take it out to the range, shooting some factory ammo, make sure everything's working, and then we'll go to some of my reloads once we're set. So I am going to unbox this, and we'll see what happens. So we're going to see if I can't get this open. Probably not be able to. So I will show you, sealed from the factory. Nuts. Turning firearm, replaced cylinder, polished, fired 12 rounds, no issues. Repair safety function check, proofed and range test. Cleaning has been completed. Release for shipping. Original details, original case, padlock, internal lock keys, grips, yes, scope rings, set, cylinder, 1, moon clips, other components. There you go. And here's their box. Sent back in. And we will go through the saga of this firearm. Handgun Safety Act notice, some crap here. Ejector cleaning instructions. So, here it is. Let's see what happens. That said, we'll get this out of the package and we'll get out to the range. So, we'll see you out on the range.
All right, shrub crafters, here we are inside of my kitchen. It is empty. So, Ruger Redhawk. I wanted a 44 mag that I could take deer hunting. And sadly, nobody around me, sorry, this camera's wobbling, nobody around me had anything in stock, so I went to my local dealer. I went to the big box stores. Everybody had the new Anacondas, you know, but a 6-inch, so I wanted that 5.5. I really love, and I was talking about my other video, I really love this half lug type of gun. It just harkens back to like a 5.5-inch barrel of a single action, and this one actually looks really nice. And I'll tell you, surprisingly, very, very comfortable to shoot, with the exception of right here. That piece hits me kind of right on the knuckle and is sharp, so I've got to file those down. Hence the reason I tried to order these crappy Badger custom grips. Crappy because of the coloration, probably not because of construction. I'm sure they're going to work well. Just really irksome that when you order something and you don't get it.
So what I'm talking about right here, when I say you order something, you don't get it, and you'll see a little bit further though, was I had ordered the jacaranda, which is a dark red, in the previous clip that you just saw, in some of the pictures popping up. And what I got instead was a Mystic River coloration, and when I called Badger Grips, they told me that Mystic River is Royal Jacaranda. It's just that their wood has more walnut coloration, so to me it actually comes out very pinkish. So it was very much a letdown. So at this point in the video, I am still hopeful that I could possibly live with that once I actually put them on the gun, as the gun had just come back from Ruger. So I had been sitting on these grips for about 3 weeks time at this point, waiting for that attempt to see how they fit.
So I have no idea if this recorded or not, but yeah, you can see. So this was sent out clean, and that carbon was removed, and Ruger sent it back this way. We are empty. No way to do this safely without pointing it at the camera. Pretty damn dirty. It was cleaned before going out, but look at all that crud in there. Pretty damn dirty. Hi, Lacey. Our new kitty, Lacey. Look at that. That amount of crud, carbon, everything. Well, here's what's really interesting. So, check this out. That rear sight. Methinks they swapped a little more than they're letting on. So when I sent this back, there was a gouge in the underside of the barrel right here, where my thumb is, from where I hammered the piss out of the ejector in order to try to get a cracked casing out. So we'll go through the story of that in a minute here. They've assured me they fired 12 rounds on the new cylinders and they all eject. What's interesting is when I sent it back to them, there was only one cylinder that I needed them to check, and it obviously was the wrong size, machined improperly, actually probably oversized. I had to Sharpie down directly over it. So, according to them, they swapped it out. But I am missing my orange insert on my sight, so freaking Ruger, man. I just... I regret buying this Ruger, and yeah, so we'll see. Again, look how dirty that muzzle crown is. I actually think that they either there's no way they took the gouge out of there. I think they swapped my barrel and cylinder and kept the frame. You know, I don't know anybody who owns a Redhawk near me, so maybe you can tell me. I'm hoping somebody can. This little nub right here, if you own a Redhawk, does yours stick out excessively on there? I got to go back and find my pictures. I did take a lot of pictures of this gun before I sent it out. Interestingly, the screw right here, I don't know if you can see it, how far off that screw is to this sight. Let's see how far over. Yeah, let's see if I can get there. That screw, how far over the sight is to this way. And I had to do that with this when I was shooting factory loads in this gun. So the saga of this gun. All right, here we go. I was looking for a gun, 44 mag. Called all my buddies. Everybody had 44s, but they all had Super Blackhawks, 7.5 inches. So I was looking at a Super Blackhawk Hunter. I was looking at a Colt Anaconda in 4.25, I think is their new barrel that they just came out with. And there was a place online that had them for $12.50. I think it was Arms Unlimited, or somebody was running a special $12.50 or so shipped for that. So I was going to order one. Called my local gun store and I said, this is what I'm looking at. This is what I'm looking for. And I said a couple of guns on my list. He said, I got a 6-inch or an 8 or 7-inch, whatever it is, with the Anaconda. And again, I've talked about on the Anacondas and Colts in general, I don't like having to pull back the cylinder release. I really like pushing forward like a Smith. It's just something I'm used to with all the Smiths that I own. This was a good compromise because it's a push to open that cylinder. He says $12.99, and I go out the door and he says, yeah, a little bit of tax on there, so I think it was $13.80 out the door. $13.99 is an MSRP. It's a mom and pop shop that's new, and they've been taking care of me in terms of pricing. They're not the cheapest, they're not the most expensive, but they are local and they are a mom and pop business, so give them the business. Got 22.6 grains of Winchester 296, 240 grain hand cast with a 1.61 overall length, my reloads. So I called Tight Group, Alient Powders, and I asked the guy, I said, before I shoot these, I want to make sure, just for grins, sorry, my camera's backwards, so trying to find those. So it's a Lee 6-cavity mold. We're going to see what happens in this. This is still minutes after I just unboxed it, sitting inside the house. So I marked that cylinder, then I used it as a 5-shooter. Went out, shot a bunch of rounds, and then it just didn't, when you get something and you don't have that confidence in it, so then I was getting some crappy groups, and I was kind of all over the place. And so just a massive disappointment for $1,380. And I feel like, between that sitting fox and some other things I've just, gotten in life, it sucks when you work hard for something, you spend your money on these things, and you just get a crappy product, and I get that stuff, lemons come through here. I went back and forth on this, just even in general to get this, and I really just wish I'd gone with a 629 Smith, even with a Hillary hole. But I could have bought a used 629 stainless, with the half lug, with the actual hammer mounted firing pin, which I love. That just looks like a single action to me, and I probably wouldn't have had this problem. Now, Rugers are diehard, but I'll tell you, I can't tell if this is, I can't remember if these are 2-piece barrels and this is just a shroud and a sleeve, because it probably is. My other one looked like I couldn't even tell there was a groove here. And I'm just disappointed. The top strap, it's probably going to be hard to see, but is full of crud and dirt. Rust maybe, and that's gonna, I'll try to clean it off. It just, and the fact that I'm missing the freaking red insert on the sight, it just tells me they probably took this off, swapped it, and I'm guessing it's probably sleeved. I could be wrong, but I'm guessing it's sleeved. They probably just took off one sleeve, threw the sleeve on, and part of the other reason I say that is because of what it looks like down in here. The machine marks are kind of worse. It's not how I sent it in. And it is definitely my extractor. I don't know if that'll focus. So right here, it's marred up from where you can see I hit it. Anyway, it's a big disappointment, and that's just my luck. So
Just after this next portion of video, I do a quick conversation about the grips, but I wanted to let you know that at this point, as soon as I hit stop on the camera, I actually called Ruger about that front sight. I actually did confirm that the Ruger Redhawks do use a small inner barrel with a cosmetic sleeve over it, and that the front is then screwed on. So that variation in that machining that I was looking at actually is indeed them when they took it off to polish it. Now, they told me they did not replace that external shroud, that it is actually mine and polished, but the gouge that I put in was pretty excessive, and there's no machining marks on there, so they did just swap that. I also let them know that the red sight insert had fallen out. So they transferred me over to a tech. The tech said, "So what happened now?" And, you know, kind of defensive initially, but I explained to him. I laughed. I was like, "Look, I get it. Stuff happens, but it's been 6 or 8 weeks at this point." And he sent me back with a crappy sight. And then the lady who'd answered the phone, I asked her, I said, "So the manual says I'm supposed to push a button to have the sights pop out, but it's clearly a dovetail front sight." So she said, "I can't answer that question." So the tech says, correct, the manual actually is outdated and they've never updated it. The old style used to depress a plunger in the front and the sights just popped out. These sights, they said, come from right to left out and from left to right in. So they did drop ship me a new one free. Took about a week to get to me, and they did replace that. And they definitely confirmed that that is a sleeved barrel. So I didn't save any money thinking that I was going to a one-piece barrel from Ruger. It is actually a two-piece. Well, actually, technically, I guess a three-piece if you count the little screw on the end muzzle. So for that $500 difference or $400 difference from a Smith & Wesson up to a Ruger, it's just one more disappointment.
And I struggled with some accuracy on here, and I don't know if it was because of the fitment. It sure as hell wasn't the ammos. I actually did bench it, lock it in, and did a couple of good groups. But look at that gap right there. I don't remember. I've got pictures before I sent it out of everything. So there's a little mark right there. I'd be a nitpicky, but this gun cost me $1,299 plus tax. So it was 13 something out the door on this gun, and then you have to send it back because it was broken from the get-go. So we'll fill you in. But anyway, I have a set of grips aftermarket, so I'm going to swap these out. Actually, these are very comfortable to shoot grips, with the exception of right here. That section hits the top of my thumb web. So super, super sharp right there. I mean, like razor sharp. So they need to be fit to the gun a little bit better. But I'm going to swap them out, and I'll show. We'll come back and we'll chat a little bit, and then when we're done chatting, we'll go out to the woods and we'll see what happens. There we are. I am going to take these grips off. I'm going to throw these Badger grips on that are Mystic River, that are not what I ordered. And I'll tell you, Jacob's response was hesitant. He tried to assure me that that's what the wood is in wood lots and all this crap. You don't get a 4-color pattern when you're offering a 2-tone red and black with a gray transition between to have bright frickin' colors. It just that's poor business to me. And the frustration is real, especially when I have to pay for this. It's like, if somebody gave them to me for free, great. And I get that he offered to have me send them back in. He didn't say send them back in and I'll refund you shipping and give you a discount to get the right one because we screwed up. He said, no, Mystic River is the same exact wood as Royal Jacaranda. It just has more walnut in it. Well, you know what? That's not what I ordered. And the fact that pulling teeth, and I definitely let out a couple of loud sighs and let my frustration be known. And I said, this isn't what? And I said, so what are you telling me? You're telling me that this isn't gonna, it's not gonna change if I send them back? And he goes, no, probably not. So first and only experience with Badger, and I can't recommend them. They look good. I mean, take the coloration out of them. I mean, the fit and finish looks pretty good, and who knows? We'll go shoot them. We'll see. Badger custom grips. Check this out. Redhawk square butt full grip R009DXRJ. I ordered it in Dymalux Royal Jacaranda, and I did high gloss, so I didn't have to use their oil, which would have been raw. And here is that price tag, $134.95. These grips were out for a minute. This is the first time I've had them out in 6 weeks since they came, and I was highly disappointed with them. So inside the box, you get their installation. Don't over tighten them, and you get a nice sticker that doesn't quite fit the box, so it's a little knurled on there. Anyway, call me jaded or whatnot. I'll just tell you this. So if you go to their website and you look at the Royal Jacaranda coloration, the Royal Jacaranda coloration is a dark red color. And I'll show you that here in a second. And this came in and matches perfectly to one called the Mystic River, which has shades of pinkish in here. And we'll go into some detail in a second here. Alright, so Badger's website, Redhawk square butt full grip, 109, no discount. Now here's the Royal Jacaranda. So that's I got a kitty cat in front of me here. Hard to see. That's actually a dark red color. So if you go to their website, it's showing up. I don't know. Hopefully you can see that. It's got some glare. But yeah, so that's a dark red with black and gray shades. And this is what I got. Now what's interesting, if you go just below there, here's Mystic River. And that is what these grips perfectly match up. So highly, highly disappointed. Sent an email thinking maybe they just sent me the wrong ones. So Jacob at Badger Custom Grips responded to my email. I emailed them right away on a Friday. About an hour before they closed on their website. Had to wait till Monday. Called a couple times, got back through to them, or they called me late Monday, and I finally chatted with them. And so, much to my disappointment, I was fed what I would say is a line of bullshit, and I'm gonna have to cut that out. So, got a return call, and much to my disappointment, I was told that this red, that's Lacey, come on Lacey, that this red, black, and gray, which is clearly not Mystic River, which looks just disgusting to me, right there, 100% matches, not even close. You go to their website yourself if you want to see. And this just is my effing luck. So I'm going to try to not swear so I can keep my videos family friendly. So Jacob at the website told me that the Royal Jacaranda is nothing more than a different tone of what they call their Mystic River, because Mystic River was created, and there's Badger's grip, was created because some of their batches of wood don't match up. Well, in my opinion, if you're buying batches of wood and they don't match up, you don't sell them and you don't send me a product. Now, in his defense, he says, well, like, you can send them back to me. He didn't offer to send them back free on his dime. And I think that's part of the problem is, like, you pay this kind of money for somebody's product. And it's like the shitting fox all over again. You waste money, $134 to have these, no discount code at all. And right here is like, some extra oil spot or burn, it looks like, going through. So again, this is laminate wood. I understand wood is different, but remember this. I do use wood every day at work. I do this for a living. I'm not a carpenter per se. We do carpentry in our buildings every day, every year. And I actually do some fine woodworking on the side, and my handles and things you guys might have seen years past in videos. So to tell me that it's acceptable to send out Mystic River, and then he said, well, you could send them back and we could try to get you another pair, but I can tell you that they're going to come from that similar style of wood, so they're going to look the same. So basically it's a bait and switch. I was very, very upset on the phone. I did not let them know it, but I just said, you know, again, I treat everybody professionally. I treat people how I want to be treated. But it does irk the crap out of me that this is what I'm dealing with, especially when you spend $134 on a pair of grips. And, you know, I want that red color because I use that red and black color in almost all of my stuff on my channel to do that. And so, you know, so add insult to injury. So I get a Redhawk from Werner with a bad cylinder, and then I get a, oh, what do you say, a bad cylinder, and then I get a runaround from them. And so, I'll kind of give you that story in a second here, but I'm going to tell you, they offered to send them back, swap them out. They didn't offer me a refund. They didn't offer me to get me the right ones like they are in the thing. They basically said that lot batches vary, but this is 100% a Mystic River. That dark color with a little bit of red on there is about the only red color on these, and he says it's due to the walnut or lack thereof or some crap. So I can tell you this, I am actually really pissed off at Badger Custom Grips. I ordered a product. They sent me a product. They assure me it's the product I ordered, even though it looks like the Mystic River. They told me Mystic River is just a variation they had to create because the Royal Jacaranda lots that they got from their manufacturer weren't there. So you know what? You take it off the freaking website. You don't make it. You don't offer it. I mean, it's cool. The grips look okay. I've never shot it with this, so we're gonna go find out how they do. I'm not gonna make somebody do that, but it didn't sit well with me, the response. He did offer to have me send them back, try to get a different set. Problem is, the set I want, he assured me he can't probably deliver, so what's the effing point? The only reason I went with them instead of a Hogue or somebody else who probably could consistently do it is because trying to support a small business. So there's me bashing on Badger Custom Grips. It's not what I ordered, but that's what I got. And you know, again, they did make the offer to send it back, and I told them I'm going to wait and think about it. Well, my gun just came in today, so we're going to throw them on. I'm going to shoot it and see if I like it. And if not, you know, yeah, we'll see. So anyway, there's me bashing them. That's snug. Not, I mean, that's me twisting. I mean, that's me trying to twist. And that's the gap that's all around it. I mean, that's not even, I don't know, man. Well, here's those grips installed. Honestly, I think they look like shit. It says not to over tighten them. Locating pin required for proper fit most guns, but do not sell. Do not only tighten by hand until snug. Here we go. Until snug, okay? I got a gap right down the center. Look at that. Till snug. Absolute freaking garbage. I'm not even going to take them out to the range. We're not shooting them. I'm sending them back. Garbage. 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 Okay, so these have sat. Put them back together. Throwing them in the box. Nope. He gave me 2 cards. 2 cards going back in the box. Factory grips going back on. There's that takedown pin. Yep, I only actually got those grips because I was looking for something that matched my 357, and the company who made my 357 grips does not make them for the Ruger Redhawk. It's not rocket science, guys. Here we go. Back in business. All right, let's go to the woods.
So I want to update you now. So after that happened, that severe disappointment, that was actually live timing putting those grips on, and they're very specific. And again, most wood grips, when you do, there's they say don't over tighten because they don't want you to pull out that wood insert where the screw goes. And interestingly, all the other grips I have typically are drilled straight through, and they use that recessed screw nut, I guess, that's into the wood, and then it's usually got a little shoulder that it doesn't pull through. Badger grips were on the inside. It's an innovative way to do it, so you don't have an exposed hole on the other side. However, it didn't allow me to get those grips tighter, and I wasn't about to try to smash them with a hammer. They should just press on, and there was a big gap. So to Badger's credit, I emailed Jacob. After I got out of the woods, I let my head cool off because I don't ever like to talk to companies or people derogatory, mean, or whatever. It's not their. People don't get paid enough to deal with somebody else's BS, and I think that's the thing. Is as mad as I get, I'm not going to call up Jacob and chew them out. You know what? It's a bad product. So I emailed after my shooting session, and I said, look. If the offer still stands, I would like to send them back for a refund. Probably within an hour or two, I actually got a response. Jacob was off that week, and he said, no problem, go ahead and send them back. I didn't talk about money. I didn't do anything else. He and he even offered, without me asking, I was getting ready to drop them in the mail, pay for it, and he said he'd send me a label back when he was in the next week. So the label came to me. Actually, Monday I forgot about him this past week. Tuesday I emailed him, and within an hour he had me a label. I had him shipped off, and then again this was a hectic week for me, I needed another CT scan at the beginning of the week, so that kind of threw some things out on me. Everything's good, but that kind of was in there, put a little delay in there. So I think it was Thursday or Friday I saw there was the credit. So he did credit me the full price of the grips, $109. Again, the most I ever did with those grips was put them on camera right there. That's the most they've been handled and looked at. So I did not get, obviously, the shipping and the rush money back. I'm okay with that. That's the cost of doing business and trying some things. So kudos to Badger Grips. Before anyone jumps on and tells me that I'm bashing them. Their grips do look really nice. I am disappointed that the grips didn't fit. Had that grip closed around, just making sure we're recording, had that grip closed around that frame, I probably would have kept them and lived with the color. I might have even sanded them a little bit and got some of that finish off of there, and maybe tried to dye them a darker color or something like that. But the fact that they didn't even close just was like, rub some salt in the wound there. So kudos to Badger, though, for stepping up. And I'm sure, they aren't happy with me as a customer, because anytime you make a product and it's not right, it's easy to blame the customer saying something's not right. I don't bitch. I mean, look at the Sitting Fox saga. Instead of returning that gun, I was too excited. I was willing to make compromises to do it. And even here, after Jacob's explanation of saying that the wood from the distributor that comes in for the Royal Jacaranda, their Mystic River came out of that coloration because it wasn't as dark as they wanted, and they just didn't have an update on there. There was no warning, no saying like, hey, you might get a different color than seen. I mean, a little bit of a shade difference is one thing, but I really wanted, I use that red for the blood symbol of hunting and respect of the animals, and the black, and I really like those darker tones because they just blend better for me, or at least that's my opinion of it. So yeah, but kudos for them for stepping up and doing the right thing, and I appreciate that. And your mileage may vary with them. It just for whatever reason, this gun, no one more plague or pox upon mankind here. I think is what's going on.
Alrighty, shrub crafters. As you can see, winter's back. Yes, this is mid-March 2024. We are now at its range. I just got off the phone with Ruger. So I don't know. I'm trying to remember if I mentioned it or not now. Yeah, that front sight that's missing. Yep, they were bummed. They're sending me out a brand new one. We'll see what happens. But I did email Badger grips. I'm sending those grips back. They don't even line up in the front. You saw that. I try to be grateful and thankful in my life. But when I'm spending hard-earned money, that takes money away from our family. Me and my wife and the farm. That's $1,380 plus $134 in there, plus all the ammo that's going on. It's not cheap. And so, it's disappointing. First 6 shots. I'm just going to aim center. I have no idea if this is even on or not. And this is using MagTech factory ammo. It was left. Left. That's definitely... Yeah. Each one's just off left. It's low too. Glad I brought the screwdriver. It's all the way bottomed down now. Moment of truth. No issues. All right, I'm going to turn this around. You can see in the snow, I went right here. They all went in the same spot over there. That center one was my last one. I'm going to load up some reloads now and see if those are any better. Look how crappy this is though. Look how far off that sight is to the rear. It almost looks like that mechanism is crooked in there. Offset. They don't make them like they used to.
So if you watch carefully, you'll see the muzzle flip in those last 6 shots, which were all pretty good hits on target. That's a 22.6 Winchester 296 or H110 using a large magnum pistol primer. And then that Lee Tumble Lube 6 groove 240 grain hand cast bullet. The flip just seems more apparent shooting them in double action just because you don't have as much of a grip as you're cycling that full action. However, it was a very smooth and consistent action from each cylinder, so the timing issues have been fixed by Ruger as well.
Here you have it. It's a little spicy. 2.6 grains of Winchester 296, 190 or H110, same exact powder. I'm gonna come up a little bit, but even with double action, I was doing pretty good. And right there in the center. A little low though, and sadly, I've been hitting that tree. Those couple of misses went through that tree, that poor tree. I feel bad, that tree. Anyway, Ruger Redhawk, it is a fun gun. I guess that's my lot in life, is to have these crummy experiences with companies. We'll see what Badger says. We'll see if he's still willing to take those back, because I'll tell you what, that gap's unacceptable in the front, on top of sending me Mystic River coloration that he said they added because of the lot variation in there. Just say that on the website, say it may come as this, and that would have been a huge difference in what I ordered. But add to the factor that they don't even close completely in the front just tells me that while they may be a good company, it didn't work out for me. Well, Shrub Crafters, there you have it. My Ruger Redhawk 5.5, missing the orange insert. It does cycle fine. The other thing that was happening was the cylinder, when you double action shot it, would speed up and slow down, so the timing was way off. Just got nailed. Nature's telling me something. So they fixed that. So by changing that cylinder out, check the timing, whatever. I did confirm when I was on the phone with Ruger that is a 2-piece sleeved barrel. It says they polished it. I asked her on the phone if they noted, because I was missing that indent, if they just gave me a new sleeve. She said they polished it. I don't know. The gap to the muzzle, where they capped that muzzle on, has a little bit more of a gap than it did in my pictures. I'm not going to nitpick. Sight-wise, they had it almost all the way bottom down and way off. So I don't know if I doubt they did much with it. So 6 shots, factory Magtech 240 grain. I went off, and you saw those misses. The reloads I made are the Tumble Lube 6 groove 6 cavity mold from Lee. I'm using a hard cast number 2 with a little bit of extra lead in. So what I did was I took Roto Metal has a number 2 hard cast similar to Lyman. Their mix is a hair off, and I dropped probably, maybe 15-20% extra pure lead in to just soften it up just a hair, because it seems slightly brittle as their mix. And then I did just cast up some pure, so I'm going to go reload some of those later. Well, at least I got a shooter. Now, I just monkeyed around with sights. I'm kind of still a little bit low, so I just came up a little more, and but I'm hitting, and that's 22 yards we're shooting at. My goal this year is to maybe even right down there's that blind. I can do I shot a deer with bow 7 yards in that spot, which is where I put those pallets up before those pallets were there, but they do travel through. So my thought is, if I can do a 30 yard or less 44 mag got plenty of ass. But that's that Tumble Lube 240 grain bullet, Tumble Lube with A-locks, and 21.6 or 22.6, whatever I said, Winchester 296 H110, using Magnum primers. And I don't know if you saw the flip in there. I was squeezing pretty good, and I was still getting flipped in the double action, more so than single action, just because your hand's doing more as it's moving. I guess, you know, I guess I should be happy. Neighbor way across, a couple of streets over, probably half a mile away, got out shooting. I love when I come out shooting and other people start shooting. Thought what America's all about. Anyway, 240 grain with that load seems to be spot on. It is a full load. It's a stout load. It's not a wimp load. But if you have any, same thing, I asked in my 357 video, nobody gave me any comments, so I'm taking that either that video hasn't gotten a lot of views, or nobody's actually killed a deer with their 357. But if you have with a 44 pistol, tell me all about it. You know, to put it in the comments. I'd love to hear if you're hunting with, you know, scope or not or whatever. I just like to hear your loads. I love hearing deer stories. I know it'll do it. I'm not concerned about that. But if you have a lighter load that yields some great accuracy that you still put deer down with, let me know. Or even 44 loads. I know the Keith load in the 44 special was what, like a 250 grain load. Whew, I'm just a little sore today. Well, I guess I'm a little sore every day. Anyway, it's such a beautiful sunny day. We got a couple inches of snow this morning, and we're done, I think. We're not supposed to get any more. But look at that. Need to be grateful. It's frustrating in life when you spend a lot of money. And again, that gun is not old. I had that gun. I picked it up, and within an hour of picking it up, I realized there was a problem with it. And I spent the next 2 weeks trying to get it right. And then, because again, you get something, you're excited, you don't want to send it back. And sent it back. And I had to take a day off work to wait for FedEx so I could sign for it. And I tried to actually intercept it yesterday and have them keep it at their facility, but they wouldn't let me do that. And so, using some vacation time, just put 50 rounds through it. Well, anyway, 44 mag, Ruger Redhawk, another lemon, I guess. Badger grips, absolute garbage. And I'll be honest, I probably should have just sent those grips back day one when he sent them to me. But I said I'd think about it. And I totally forgot about those grips sitting on a shelf. And I paid the extra 25 bucks to have them rush process, because otherwise they say 4 to 6 weeks, I think, to make your grips. Maybe a little bit faster, but severely disappointed. And I shot him an email, and when we'll see, they'll either take them back or they won't. And if they don't, I guess I'll have to suck it up. And if that's the case, I'll be cutting them and modifying them, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather send them back and let them do it. But you know what sucks? I'm gonna be at that $25 rush process, and well, I'm gonna find that out. And then because if I'm out 25 bucks plus shipping back, then what the hell? I guess I'm gonna have to eat it. And then you know, it's just frustrating. Just frustrating. There's nothing wrong with those grips. I was just looking for something to fill my hand a little bit better for that long repeated session as I try to learn how to shoot a 44 mag revolver well. So anyway, any tips and tricks you guys have? We'll see if I can't make this video compile at all any easier. So let's see. But here's some cuteness for you. Oh, baby goats. Gotta run away. Haha. They want milk. We have to bottle feed them. Their mom, this one, is a slacker. So if I hold her, she'll nurse them. Well, they're too busy with me. Oh, there we go. There we go. She does not like her kids. There we go. I guess when you have 4, you don't care. She likes the one, which is the brown-headed one. The rest she despises. There's another little baby goat, Sprite, and there's a couple of little babies in the background. So if you want any goats, they're available. And then we got a couple still expecting. It's Medea and some of our turkeys right here we didn't eat yet. One of them was picking on one of our ducks. So it's that one in the closest to the right. It's probably a 30-pound bird now. It's getting ready to eat, especially since it's turning into an a-hole. See? Poor little kids. So thirsty. Anyways, so much to be thankful for in life, and sometimes it's so easy to get into a negative mood, especially when you spend lots of money. And when you got to spend a lot of money, that does take away from things like the farm. And you know, you think something's going to be awesome, and then you get it, and then it's a 8-week journey, as this has been, just to get you to where you should have been 8 weeks ago. Anyway, hope everyone's doing well out there, and I'll talk to you soon.